Well, I've been teasing you for weeks as to what my new car is going to be, and I think a lot of you have guessed from the last review I did and a few other comments I've made. So without further ado, welcome to my new car. It's not quite a Jaguar, as you can see. This is a Kia EV6. This is the Kia EV6 all-wheel drive GT Line S.
Leave at the second exit.
With heat pump. I'll let the navigation do its same thing. So I don't know if you can see the heads-up display through my heads-up camera, my point of view camera, but the this is actually running with the augmented reality version of the head-up display. So it gives you some guidance as to where you're supposed to go as you come to junctions and the like. We'll see how it works.
For the next 3 miles,
it certainly accelerates this.
Road.
Now, as you can see, at the moment I've got the energy distribution showing on the console here, and as you can see at the moment, this is the all-wheel drive version, but it's actually only using the rear-wheel drive for most of the driving, which is great for economy. But if you do put your foot down a little bit, it will go onto all-wheel drive. Let me just slow down a little bit so I've got a little bit to play with, and then flip. You can see it just kicks into all-wheel drive. This is when it's running in normal mode. If I switch it to sport mode, you can see it's in all-wheel drive all the time, and it is actually like a different car. It really is. Really quick. Navigation's good. Quite like this view. As I said when I did the original test drive, I would like to have seen something in the centre console for the actual map, but you can get navigation. It is there. I remember how to do this. There it goes. That's the one we want, and then push up to actually get the navigation direction, so you can see what the next direction is. But it's in the heads-up display anyway, so I don't really need that. So I actually quite like having it on this information display here, which is kind of good to see what's going on with the drive. And obviously in sports, I'm using a bit more juice. You need juice left though. I've got it in auto regeneration, auto regen. That's by pressing and holding the right pedal. I think I mentioned on the last test drive, which works really well. When I first got the car, it was on low regen, and it really didn't feel right to me at all. What's really weird is I had 83% battery charge when I picked the car up. I'm now at 84, so I've done some regen and picked some up, which is quite nice. 208 miles on 84%, which means an 80% charge is going to get you around about 200 miles of range, which is pretty good to be honest, because you can charge really quickly with this car with its 230 odd kilowatt charging rate, 350 kilowatt charger. So 0 to 80 is certainly going to take you 20-30 minutes. Quick top up sounds the way to go with this car. I saw a really good video from some Australians who did a trip in a Ioniq 5 from Sydney to Melbourne, and they were using the strategy of really short. Let's let it do its stuff. They were doing the idea of having a very short stop every time they needed a stop. They were sort of doing 2 hours of driving, short stop, 2 hours of driving, and they were saying that they were struggling to take a break when they actually did their stop for 2 hours before the car was fully charged, or at least charged to where they needed it to be charged to. So yeah, it's good.
Now leave the roundabout.
So there are 26 miles on the clock on this car at the moment. It hasn't done a lot. We've done a bit more by the end of today. Let's see if we can just go on to the current range. Well, 1.44 miles per kilowatt hour isn't particularly good, but we might find that gets a bit better over time, because it's obviously learning my driving style, and I am in sport, which wouldn't help. Actually, let's go back to normal. When you go to eco, it just feels like the car's just gone really sluggish. It's very weird. But normal's actually okay. I don't mind driving in normal. And see the dash changes when you change settings. As you know from the last video, I'd looked at replacing the I-Pace with another I-Pace. Couldn't get the spec I wanted in any sense of time. And there was also some other considerations as well. I mentioned the cost difference on the last video as well, and this car is costing significantly less than the I-Pace did. So it was definitely cheaper to have this car than the I-Pace, significantly cheaper. And part of that is the insurance. The insurance is about half what we were paying for the I-Pace. This is company car insurance through the company. Not quite sure why that is. The performance of the two cars is very similar. In sports mode, I struggle to feel the difference between this and the I-Pace. Handling slightly less good than the I-Pace was, but still very, very, very good. It's a great car to drive. It's definitely a driver's car, this car. So reducing the cost was a huge point, and especially with the pandemic. The industry we're in has been really badly affected by the pandemic. We're not doing too badly, but it's the way of the world. So we needed to cut back some costs anyway, and this made sense in that respect. I don't think I'm losing out a lot by having this car compared to the I-Pace. In fact, I don't really think I'm losing out anything. There's some gains actually, if anything. Certainly gain on charging speed. I mean, Jaguar haven't kept pace with what Kia and Hyundai are doing on charging. I mean, having 350 kilowatt charging on this car is going to be brilliant. I mean, no, it doesn't do 350 kilowatts. It does 230, something around there. But even that is at least twice as fast as the I-Pace, possibly even faster. And that's going to make a big difference.
In 0.7 miles, keep left.
Okay, I will do that. So you can see the navigation's working quite well here. It's fairly obvious where I need to turn. Good heads-up display telling me I'm at 0.7 miles and when to turn off. I don't seem to have had many of those augmented reality type prompts recently. I was getting them around when I was driving around in town, but not out on the open road, which is interesting. I am on cruise at the moment, adaptive cruise control. Haven't seen HDA come up.
In a quarter mile, keep left onto A606 towards Oakham.
But that apparently only comes up on motorways. I'm not technically on a motorway. This is the A1, not the A1M. Take this junction. I love those mirrors at the side.
Now keep left.
Blind spot. There we go. We've got augmented reality happening. Just take it on cruise. I need to adjust my driving position. It's not quite right for me at the moment.
Onto A606 towards Oakham.
So we're going to go left here.
Now turn left.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to turn left towards Oakham.
For the next 4 miles, keep straight on this road.
So I'll be doing a lot of videoing on this car, as you can tell, and it's going to be good to actually have something new to explore. So as I mentioned last time, I won't be forgetting the I-Pace, I won't be forgetting the Jaguar content. I've got a lot of contacts there. I can definitely still get information from them as and when we need it. But hopefully I'll make the same similar contacts with Kia and be able to get some of the inside information as well. But yeah, this is good. I really enjoy driving it. As I said last time, I could just jump in and drive it, and that's the case here as well. I do need to adjust my seat position. It's not quite right, but that's often the way with a new car. Handover was good. I've got a really good explanation of the controls. I certainly don't seem to have had any problems with the heating. That seems to be giving me heat, which is good. You do have control over it. I can choose to put the heat on whenever I want. Heat up a little bit. Yeah, getting heating all right. Yeah, certainly not cold. Has got auto climate. It's got 3 levels. And someone asked, why has it got 3 levels? That's to do with the strength of the fan. So, Jaguar had that as well. You could adjust how much sort of power you wanted on the fan as it turned on. Some people don't like to be blasted with air. I'm not keen on being blasted with air, but this works. Yeah, so it's good. and you can always tell when the heater's come on because the heat comes on. This has got the heat pump. I'm not quite sure how you tell that's working, but it's there. Yeah, this is good. You can see there it's telling me I'd gone over the central lines, come across. Didn't push me back because I've got it set so it's only warning, which I think is the best way to do it. If I did drift too much, it would try and push me back. I think the emergency lane keeping would cut in then, even if it's set to only more. I seem to be doing all right on the mileage here. I've actually got more miles than what I set off with. I'll say they're running on normal at the moment. Navigation works well. I actually navigated using voice navigation to get here. That works really, really well. See, I've got 2 miles to go, which is good. Not far at all. So far, so good. Just going down to 30.
In half a mile, turn left.
I found it's nice and smooth. 3 bumps, but you know they're there, but you don't feel them on your bum, so to speak. Yeah, it's good.
In quarter mile, turn left onto Sykes Lane.
Right down Sykes Lane. Plenty of room. This is a rough old bit of road usually. This doesn't feel too bad on this car. Now hopefully my car is set up on the autoplay on this. It's supposed to be. There we go. Perfect. Welcome to the beautiful area that is Rutland Water. So we parked down at the Oops, missed that speed hump. But that actually was
You have reached your destination.
not too bad.
The destination is to the right.
Yep, I know it is technically. Oh, I'm actually going to go around to the left here so we can get a bit of a view. Isn't that beautiful? And off. This is the GT Line S all-wheel drive with heat pump. It's pretty gorgeous. This is what they call runway red. Looks very similar to the red I used to have on the I-Pace, as you may notice. This has had a kind of ceramic coating on it. It's a thing called Air Glide. I did it on my previous cars. It's protected them really well from the elements, and that means when you come to clean it, it's just a case of wiping clean. It's actually used on aircraft and has another advantage in that it actually reduces the drag on the car. Yeah, I'm impressed with it so far. Really been enjoying driving it, especially in sports mode. That makes such a much difference. Here, call that a panoramic sunroof, and you really don't think it's panoramic compared to what the I-Pace used to have, but it's still very nice, and it does let enough light in to make it cabin, a lot more roomy in area, because it's quite a dark cabin that was. Does sort of like white trim around the chairs, which is good. But yeah, it's generally a very nice car. Okay, so I've played around a bit with the seat position. I think I've got one which I quite like. Did find my head was quite close to the roof at one point. This is definitely much better, and I can see the dashboard quite happily. Let's show you. Let's fire up. And there we go. So this is the standard dashboard information. Also navigation. It doesn't really know where we are at the moment. Home button on there. One thing I do quite like is this bit here. I mean, I've got it defaulted to heat at the moment. I may change it to default to the other mode. This is the swap modes button, and then you've got options here for all your various bits like your map. And one of the nice things about the map is it changes the option that these things do. You see, zoom in, zoom out, just twist the knob like that. Not sure what that one does. It doesn't do anything, but it's quite good that does that. Then you got map, navigation, which is great. You can add some favourites on here, which I haven't done yet, but I can do that later. Point of interest. EV charging stations. I wonder if there's one any around here. Yeah, there are. I'm to know there's now from power not far away. Now the only thing is there's no Instavolts on here, which is a shame because that's ones I prefer to use. But these are basically all ones which are covered by the Kia Charge, I guess. No, I'm not sure if even Volts it is. So what AC chargers? I want DC charger, please. Can I have a DC charger? Osprey, that'd be do. Anyway, I know there are some chargers nearby, but it's interesting to see that. So come back here, go home, EV. Always tells you the nearest chargers. Nice. You can set your schedule charging, next departure, EV charge transport. It's getting quite warm in this car at the moment. Check what it's set to in a minute. It's definitely not keeping cold. You can set things like charging limits. Got utility mode, which allows you to run without having it in drive. Basically allows you to power your 12 volts from the main battery, which is good. I think phone projection is Android Auto. I've got an Android Auto device I can use just to test that out. Ooh. Apple CarPlay, I think actually is. Let's try that. Detected it yet? See if that detects it. There we go. Now we've got it. Apple CarPlay. So it detected it was a CarPlay box. It's not actually a CarPlay box. This is a AutoKit T box. Link it AI. If you ever saw Abby Dabby Dude's video on this, seems to work quite well on the Kia. I mean, one of the things about this is that unlike the Android Auto natively plugged-in version, this is full widescreen. So yeah, quite cool. If you've not seen this before, it's basically an Android tablet on a using it uses CarPlay to simulate an Android tablet. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Which you can then run, and yeah, it will actually try and connect my phone now for Android Auto. And my phone sometimes plays up a bit on this, but you can see here this is the one place where it's not being recognised as widescreen at this point with Android Auto, and I think that's something to do with licensing. But it works. You get navigation. It knows where I am, which is good, because this never used to work in the iPace. You never knew where I was, so that's a good thing. But you can come out of this. You can do all the settings and everything like that. I might be able to change some of the settings. But yeah, that bit works really well. So if I did maps on here, it knows where I am, which is cool. I mean, one of the problems with this, I do voice recognition on it. Oops, actually that didn't work how I expected it to. It's gone to the key recognition, which is good. Come back here. If I go up here, that's it. Do that one. Where am I? I didn't hear any volume there. I didn't get any audio. So I'm not quite sure what's causing that. Why there's no audio coming out of this, but there isn't. So I need to investigate that a bit, play with this box a bit more. But I mean, that's just a side matter. It's nice that you can actually use the full screen on this, because that does mean that while I'm sitting here, I have the option to play YouTube. And as you can see, it's pretty good. It's yeah. That's the video I did in the other car the other time. But yeah, it works well. But it's nice to have that option. Here you go. So that's some of the things you can do with it with Android Auto. So just actually come out of that because I don't really want that to do that. So don't play that while I'm driving. Away, home, X. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Now I haven't really played with the audio, so I did get audio then. That was interesting. I did actually get audio when I did that. So it was only on the I didn't get on the maps. I didn't get the audio. So let's try that again. Where am I? Well, actually gets that right. So when I did this in the iPace, I always thought I was in London. Strange. What's going on with the heating? It's better. Oh, I was going crazy. Just to put the fan up high. But yeah, works well. Very pleased. Let's have a look at this dashboard. So the centre console. So you obviously got your two screens. And as I said last time, this hasn't got very much configuration on this screen. You can't do much. You can't change it much. But you've got quite a bit of information on here. On the drive, I mentioned this power distribution chart, which is really good. You've got a few options on the driver assistance bit. Obviously the car, you can show speed limit system, you can show where the cars around you when you're driving with either active cruise or highway driving assist. On the car one, you've got drive information. You can see what range again. Obviously at the moment I'm getting some pretty low mileage per kilometre hours, but that's probably because I've been sitting with the car and drive, not going anywhere, which doesn't help. I might reset that actually so we can get a good starting point. I'll just reset everything for a minute and see how we go on the way back. Yes, I mean you can see I've done a few miles to get here and still got the same guesstimated mileage as when we started. Don't appear to have actually used anything. Did get a fair big degree of regen on the route. We have used a bit of percentage of battery, think we're just over 80 when we started. Can't quite remember. So information shows you what type of power you're using, whether it's front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive. I don't think it is actually ever front wheel drive, but it's either rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. It shows you how much battery has been either consumed or getting back as regen. It's quite nice to see. I quite like having that on. Tyre pressure you can see when you've driven. Yeah, it's not bad in terms of what it's got. It's just a little bit limited compared to the iPace. Had a few more options. You could do a bit more configuration on it, which I quite like that. But it covers the essentials. Depending which mode you are in, that bottom setting changes. So in sport mode you get a torque meter. In eco mode you get miles per kilowatt hour, and in normal mode you get miles per kilowatt hour at the bottom. But obviously in sport they don't want you to know how many miles per kilowatt hour you're doing, and why would you need to know? Because you're just having fun. I do like the way the dash changes when you change mode. I'm told there's a way of actually changing the ambient light to match that as well, but I haven't actually found that yet. One of the nice things on this thing is that it's actually relatively easy to find things. You just go across here and do search, and then you can put in what you want to find. So if I want to find ambient light, there's ambient light settings, and you can choose what you want to. So at the moment I've got blue flight as the thing, but I can actually link it to the drive mode. So at the moment we're in normal. If I switch to sport, you can see it's gone red. Isn't that cool? I like that. Back to eco, normal, red for drive. Very cool. Do like that. All sorts of things in here. I don't know what travel mode is. Oh yeah, that's when you're driving abroad. Tangent front lighting. Yep, all good stuff. Touch indicator light, you can tell how many times it flashes. So you've got loads of options in here, and as I say, you can find them fairly easy. Now I haven't actually set this up properly yet. I do need to set my users up on it. I haven't done that yet. So we can change user, create a driver. So I might put driver 1 in there. And we can do some setup of it. I'd like English, yes please. Let's change the name to my own name. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Oops, okay. Very clicky, that keyboard. Okay. Next. I like this 3D map. Okay, well I'm going to do this. I'll just stop filming while I do this. So yeah, that's all. I'm now set up. There's driver 1. I should remember my settings. But yeah, lots of options on here. Lots to explore. I haven't even set Kia Connect up yet. I need to do that at some point. But there's lots of options in here anyway. So vehicle diagnostics. Pleased to say everything seems to be normal. Which you'd expect, obviously, on picking up a car. Right, anyway, enough of looking at this car for a minute or two. There's much more fun to have by driving it. So you have to start your foot on the brake. Ready? Look at that. So, fabulous cameras on this car. Go to McDonald's at Oakham.
What do you want to open?
Well, the barrier, obviously. That's not quite what I intended. So one of the things I found as an annoyance of this CarPlay thing is it goes to it automatically when you're on there. Well, that's interesting. All my settings screen just went off. There we go. Well, I'll actually come out of this because I really don't want to be in there. I'd rather be on the main screen. Go to. Yeah, that's overriding too much. I'm going to actually unplug that for a minute. It's a bit annoying. Go to McDonald's Oakham.
30 results found. Please say the line number.
I don't think it's got
Sorry.
the one I want. Oh well. I know it is anyway, but it hasn't got the one I want. Go to Oakham.
Sorry. Please repeat your last command.
Go to Oakham.
Sorry. Please repeat.
Go to Oakham.
Do you want to set this as the destination?
Yes.
The guidance will start now.
This is not a slow car. So I've got auto hold on, so it doesn't roll back, which is nice. iPace would have been rolling back slightly in this situation. Unlike the MG ZS EV I drive sometimes, the auto hold seems to come off very easily as well. There's not a huge lurch as you bring it off. Here we go. I happen to know there's some Instavolt chargers down here, so I'm just going to go and plug in one just for a few minutes.
Leave at the second exit. Now leave the roundabout.
Holds that so well. Holds that so well. Stop navigation.
Sorry, there is too much background noise. Please press the button and try again.
Oh, unfortunately there is a cancel route back down here we can just press. Let's see if I can get an Instavolt to start today with this car. Now, let's start now though. I'm going to reverse into an Instavolt slot. Let's use these fabulous cameras again. Right, enough of it. Looking good. Oh, so easy. Button the car in if I can. That's good. I'll switch off. Now I've got a button here somewhere to open the filler cap. There you go. That should have opened it. Filler cap. The charging port. Let's see what we got. See you in a moment. Yep, so open the port. Very easy to set up. Just got a button to tap to undo. Let's plug her in. That's that. I'm just going to paper car today. There we go. really easy. You can actually even see charge rate, charge state. I guess we're charging. Yep, so we'll charge that top rate, and I think we can cut that in a little bit just to protect it a bit so it's not really fast. That white on there is just my polish I put on earlier. Obviously, this is a 50 kilowatt charger, so you wouldn't expect it to charge particularly fast. But 37 almost kilowatts at 76% is pretty good. So one thing I do have to remember is to press the button to lock it. There we go. All locked. But yeah. Impressive little beast, this one. Drives well as well.